Abby here with Purple Cottage Crafts, and I'm doing a follow-up video on my Faux Vellum DIY tutorial. So I was Skyping with my girl Michelle Scott, and we were talking about this, and I was telling her that after in that video, which I will link below, I'd wiped this off each piece a few different times, and the night I finished the video I stuck the faux vellum pieces in this clear acetate bag, and this I think it was like 2 days ago by now, and this I don't have any kind of trace of oil that I can see on the bag itself, and that's why I wanted to stick it in here so I could actually see it. I don't see any residue inside the bag or on my fingers, but the question Michelle and I had, and I know a few others have had as well, is over time, or if you put like pressure on these different faux vellum pieces inside of a journal, is it going to leave a grease mark? And that is a very good question. One I actually had myself as I was filming the video, because I make tomes and I make journals, and all of our crafting projects take a lot of times. And if you make tomes like Michelle and I do, and anybody else who's been in the that's purchased Nick the Booksmith's tome course, you'll know that there is a lot of labor intensive work that goes into them. You know, you build them basically from the ground up. I'm trying to see where mine is. I can show you. Sorry, I should have had that ready to go. But this is the tome I made, my first one, and this one's for myself. There's a lot of time and work that goes into creating these, as well as other projects too. But the tomes are probably my highest priced item that I make because of that reason. So before I want to put this in a tome, and Terry Rankin, I want to give her a shout out too. She also messaged me on Facebook. I will get back to you, Terry. Last message, by the way, and had the same concern because she also did the book course, and we don't want to put all that time and effort into it and then set the price for it, and then the recipient gets it and then there's like, you know, oil marks. That would be terrible. So after Michelle, or while Michelle and I were Skyping, she had gave me this idea. She said, why don't you test this out tonight? So this is, I'm going to call this the Michelle Scott test. So what I did is I gathered some different materials, and I'll explain to you each one and why. These are the base materials that I personally use in the signatures within the tome. It's different types of paper that's been coffee dyed or tea dyed or whatever you dye it with. Cardstock and different fabrics and stuff. So I just have here a piece of satin from a wedding dress I cut down, so I'm going to sample it on that. This is just a piece of some basic cotton, and I use those in my tomes too for collage bits and whatever else. This is just some it's not double-sided paper, but it's paper, a scrap of paper nonetheless. So I've just scored down the middle. I don't want to come apart yet, and I'm going to put one of the vellum pieces on here to see if it bleeds any grease onto this, and then I'll have it closed. I'm going to do the same thing on this one because there's a blank spot there. So I'll do that. And these are 3 different types of paper. This is one of Michelle Scott's Michelle papers. They're amazing. If you don't know what these are all about, go check out her YouTube channel. She's always linked below, and this is awesome. So this is a fairly thin piece of paper, and this has been tea dyed, and I love it. So I use some of her paper on all my tomes. This is some 120-pound Nina cardstock, so it's a little bit thicker. This is I made this. This is coffee dye, and then this is just your regular standard HP or whatever brand copier paper. So I'm going to be folding these in half, as I would a normal signature within my tomes, and I'm going to be putting pieces of the faux vellum into each one. And then I have a stack of heavy books right here, and it's even in a pack like that thick full of cardstock. And I'm going to let these sit overnight and then check it out in the morning. So it is roughly 1:30 a.m. my time on June 14th. So I would say by 2 a.m. I'll have everything set up, and I'll take it out into my dining room, and then I'll just wait until like later in the day to take a peek at it. And I'll do like a check-in, and I will film it, of course, so you guys can see it as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that stuff set up. The next piece is going to be a process, because how fun is it to watch Abby just fold paper? I don't know. And you'll see me inserting the faux vellum sheets in there as well. So I will get myself set up a little better, and I'll be back, and you can watch me get this Michelle Scott experiment ready to go. See you in a little bit. so I have a couple pieces left, this envelope and then this little tag here. So I wanted to kind of experiment. Oops, I didn't mean to put that in here. And this one here. I wanted to experiment with some different paper since I had 3 pieces left. And this is a coffee dyed doily. This is my coffee dyed vintage paper from like a botany book or something. And this is some coffee dyed graph paper. So these are also items that I use in my tomes and journals and whatnot. And I just wanted to give that a go as well, since I have some extra stuff in here. So I wish I would have done actually like maybe 8.5 by 11, like a full size, so I could have cut up a little more strips, but I didn't think about that. So let's just do this real quick, kind of flatten this down and see how it works. I think I might want to put that smaller tag in here. I think maybe let's do that. Yeah, so it fits in there a little bit better, and just kind of place that in there, no specific way or anything. And then I'll take the graph paper, and then we'll open up the envelope so it's fully exposed onto the paper. And do this, and then last but not least, we'll do this vintage book paper. So get that folded in half. And this might even vary. I mean, this isn't like some scientific, you know, experiment or something, because it could also depend on how much oil you put into the paper. I noticed that I use probably way too much compared to what Heather did in her video. So there's all kinds of variables. This isn't going to be like some, you know, scientific award type of test or anything. I'm just trying a couple things out that Terry and Michelle have brought up. So putting this really heavy paper thing on top, and I have my little sandwich. So it is now 1:40 a.m. June 14th. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. I'm going to go put this on my dining room table, and then I will take a picture of it and insert it as I'm talking, so you can kind of see how it got set up. And then I will bring it back in my room sometime tomorrow or today, later today, and like I want to give it at least 12 hours. Maybe this is what I'll do like 12 hours. We'll check it, and then I'll do let it go till it's 24 hours from the time that I got this together. So I think we'll kind of do that and see how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this part of the video up, and I will see you guys in the next clip. Okay, so it is roughly 30 hours, somewhere around there, since I filmed the last segment. I had every good intention of filming at 12 hours, like I said, and then at the 24-hour mark, but I was down all day yesterday, life with chronic pain. So I apologize that I'm doing this not in the way that I previously stated. But the good thing is, this has sat longer than I had anticipated, so if anything was going to seep out onto the different materials I shared with you, we're definitely going to see that now. So this is a piece of paper just to cover the glare as I was talking to you. So let me go ahead and kind of unlayer everything, and we'll see how it's working. So we can see right here off this first layer that it is definitely leaking onto the papers it was touching. So we can see that. Okay, so there's that. This is the paper. You can definitely see that the oil has seeped onto the paper on there. And I have a solution for this. I'm going to try. So, and on the doily, you can definitely see the oil is soaked onto the doily. Okay, let's remove the next layer. Let's check the fabric. Okay, so on this white wedding dress satin, I don't see anything on this material. I don't know if it'll show up on other materials or not, but I don't see anything. It feels exactly the same. I don't see any kind of oil marking, so there's that. And on this piece of cotton fabric, let's see, I think I see, I can't tell if that's the flower pattern. I think I see like a little bit right there. See that right there? And when I flip this over, it's white. There's no flower there. So it did seep through this material here. Probably didn't on this because maybe it's thicker. I don't know. I don't understand fabrics like that to try to guess, I suppose. Alright, so I'll get to the last layer, or second to last. Now these are just the cardstock pieces, and you can tell, sorry I forgot to turn my phone down. You can see all the different oil marks there from the baby oil on this one. Now I will still use these because I can do some stamping on the back side to, if I want these to not be stuck to something, I can do some stamping and inking on the back, all that. But you definitely don't want that to be happening on your, like your journals and your tomes and things that you put together like that. So, especially if you're going to sell them. And because I don't think the recipient would be very happy. So again, we can see definitely that the oils have seeped through the 3 different types of coffee dyed and tea dyed papers that I shared with you in the beginning. So there's that. And then this one here. So this definitely leaks. So what I have, well, I had Terry Rankin suggest something, but I also, before I was thinking in my head before I had responded to Terry's message she sent to me, is I wonder if you could use some type of a fixative over top of this, like like the spray fixative. And I have some in my garage. I use it for some other, my husband and I use it for different things around the house and whatnot. I wonder, so I'm going to test this. I'm going to take these here and I'm going to spray them all, and I'll redo this test again, not with the same materials, of course, because these are already, got oil all over them, but I'll test it with the same type of materials, different kinds of paper again, doily, fabric. Maybe I'll pick up, maybe I'll use like maybe 2 or 3 different types of fabric this time, maybe even 4, just to kind of have different types of it. But this definitely, it's, as far as seeing if the oil from the baby oil from the faux vellum is going to leak onto or seep onto the different papers and fabrics and stuff, it is absolutely a total fail, because yes, you can see here that that is exactly what happened onto all the different papers and different, different cardstock types. Not on the wedding dress satin, but on the cotton one, you can definitely see it. So I want to thank Miss Terry Rankin for suggesting, saying, hey, maybe check it out first before you put it into a tome or a journal, because this is what's going to happen. So thank you so much, Terry, for that. And I also have a huge thank out to my craft BFF, Miss Michelle Scott, because when she and I were Skyping, as I mentioned in a prior clip, she was like, well, let's just, test it on different pieces and have it sit overnight. So I'm calling this the Michelle Scott test. And so obviously it was a fail as far as the oil seeping or weeping onto the rest of the papers, but it was a success in the context of testing this out. And yes, we can see that it's all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Do another round of testing. It might be maybe a day or 2, because I've got some priority work I'm trying to get done first. But I'm definitely not going to be incorporating these into a tome that I'm currently working on, which I was going to do. Not going to happen until I figure out if the fixative is going to work. Maybe I should use less baby oil next time. I mean, this was my first try, so I'm going to take responsibility, obviously, because I did it. Maybe I put too much baby oil on it. I don't know. I'm going to have to play this some more and kind of figure it out. But I love the idea of it. I mean, it's so totally cool that you can just take regular paper and this is all coffee dyed, actually, I printed on, and it looks like vellum. It's really cool idea, but it's not quite perfect in the context of using it on any type of project, whether it's for myself or for a commission piece, especially for a commission piece or something I'm making to just sell off my website and YouTube channel. So I will find a creative way to reuse these materials. I definitely don't want to just waste them or toss them, and I will do a separate video when I do that, just in case you're curious how I'm going to kind of cover up or mask this type of an outcome on your different papers. Where'd that book page go? Oh, it's hidden down here. And on a vintage, this is a vintage what was this from? This was from some type of it's a vintage book, but I can't remember. It's like an agricultural book or something. So you can definitely see the grease stain on there too. So again, Terry and Michelle, thank you ladies for suggesting this possibility and doing a test and everything. And I will just move forward and with the next couple videos that I already mentioned, and I will see you all soon. So happy scrapping, happy planning, and happy crafting. Keep your fingers crossed that the fixative is going to fix this issue. If not, I'll look for I'll try to do something else. So I'll see you next time. Bye everybody.